He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Tuesday where we will begin to start shifting our focus away from the win over Carolina, start shifting it towards Sunday, 1 o'clock up in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Bengals home opener. You're going to see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Will be quite the test for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got a thought about that game coming up here in just a moment. In fact, the Jaguars had an off day today. They will be back down at the Miller Electric Center tomorrow to begin preparations for week 2 against Cincinnati. I'll be down in the locker room tomorrow afternoon, getting some one-on-one conversations that you will hear tomorrow night and Thursday night on Hacker After Dark, but certainly a ton of Jaguar talk this evening. Also, I want to spend some time on the Florida Gators. I think the hourglass is about to go empty on the Billy Napier tenure. Usually I don't think that after one game, but I was so taken aback with the performance, the conduct, everything that went into Saturday night's loss to USF. I just simply cannot imagine a scenario where Florida actually wins against LSU in Baton Rouge. I think Florida will play hard, but I don't think they will win. They then have to go down to Miami at night. Are they going to win that game? Probably not. And then all of a sudden you're staring at 1-3 going into a bye week with games against Texas and Texas A&M and Georgia. Florida State looks hard now. Tennessee, Ole Miss. I mean, it's going to get ugly. So because of that and because of just the horrific effort, playing, coaching, all systems go on Saturday night, I want to start getting into the future a little bit and what that future may look like at the University of Florida if/when the Billy Napier tenure does ultimately run its course. So we'll get into that as well. Ryan Roberts of A to Z Sports.com will stop by to talk a little college football with us. Florida, obviously Florida State. The Seminoles enjoy an early bye this weekend. They're 2-0, ranked in the top 10 in America. Who on earth would have thought that 2 weeks ago? But that is where Florida State is. And again, our Jaguar conversations, Mark Duffner and Dave Campo. Coach Campo back in the Dallas area, but again, we're going to have him on pretty regularly here on Hacker After Dark, and we'll get Coach on to talk about the Tank Bigsby trade, the win over Carolina, and certainly looking forward to the Cincinnati game on Sunday. We also have a couple of giveaways to give away. As a matter of fact, if I were a betting man, I would say one of those giveaways will take place very, very shortly here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, I want to let you hear from Liam Cohen in a little bit as well. Liam Cohen met the media yesterday down at the Miller Electric Center because of the Tank Bigsby craziness that went on right as we were coming on the air yesterday. We did not get to a couple of those Liam Cohen thoughts about the toughness that the team showed in that win over Carolina. I want to hear some from the Jaguar head coach from yesterday coming up in one moment. You know, every offseason I basically tell you this. And I imagine some of you, if you listen to me every year, you probably get tired of hearing it, but I feel passionately about it. Every fan base in the National Football League in May, June, July, and August, training camp, OTAs, mini camps, the off season, every fan base thinks this is going to be the year. If you're a bad team, this is going to be the year to turn it around. If you've just barely missed the Super Bowl, this is the year to get over the hump. Or if you're a defending Super Bowl champion, this is the year you're going to repeat. Hope springs eternal in those months. Reality tends to hit you in the face in the month of September. Go back last year to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody was fired up for opening day, right? You play Miami, you lead 17-7, and then ETN fumbles, Tyreek Hill goes 80 yards, Miami beats you by a field goal, and the very next week, week 2 last year, you lost to an awful Cleveland Brown team here, 18-13, and you pretty much knew at that point what the reality was in 2024. And the reality was the Jaguars were just not very good. Fast forward a year. Last week, you dominated a team that had a better record than you last year. Carolina's bad, Hacker. I mean, Jacksonville shouldn't get credit for that. Carolina's bad. It's all I've heard for the last couple of days. Well, if that's how you want to live your life, feel free to do that. I'm going to choose to live my life a little more positively. And that Carolina team that is so bad won more games than this Jaguar team did a year ago. Jacksonville went out there and wiped the floor with Carolina on Sunday. Last year, week 2, the Jaguars played a team from Ohio. Lost, and it was very apparent very quickly the Jaguars were just not very good. The Jaguars play a team from Ohio this year in week 2. The Jaguars go up to Cincinnati and win. If they go up to Cincinnati and win, well, at that point, is the reality that smacks us in the face that the Jaguars are pretty good? That the Jaguars may be considerably better than many people thought? That, dare I say, Jacksonville, with a win on Sunday, might be this year's Washington Commanders? I don't think that would be crazy to say. If you go up to Cincinnati, Ohio, and you play Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Bengals, and you beat them after what you did to Carolina last week, and you start 2-0, that'll get some attention. That will get a lot of attention nationally. I saw Pro Football Talk, our buddy Mike Florio had the Jaguars 25th in his power rankings this week after the week 1 victory. 25th. In fact, he had not 1, not 2, but 8 teams. That's 8 teams that lost in week 1 still ahead of Jacksonville in these power rankings. Comes with the territory. I don't necessarily blame Florio for that, although I do think he has a little bit of an issue with the city of Jacksonville, and I've never understood why. But Jaguars are going to have to earn their respect. They've been bad for a long time. Now, was the win over Carolina, was that a teaser for what we can expect in the next couple of years? Or was the win over Carolina an appetizer for maybe the main course coming up in the next couple of weeks if you can knock off a couple of these teams beginning with Cincinnati on Sunday? I went back and I watched the Jaguar-Panther game. It was the final time I watched it. I always try to watch it once on Monday and again on Tuesday before you flip the page and start looking at the next week's opponent. I watched that game for the final time today. I got to tell you, man, I've watched it 3 times now. I watched it live, I watched it yesterday, and I watched it again today. The more I watch it, the more I realize just how much better Jacksonville was than Carolina. It wasn't even close. It should have been 30-3. The defensive holding had literally nothing to do with Wingert's pick. It should have been 30-3. You don't win NFL games 30-3. Oh, but Carolina was bad, right? Yeah, well, New Orleans is considered to be bad. Did Arizona beat them to death? No. The Giants are considered to be bad. Did Washington beat them to death? No. I mean, look. The Jets are considered to be bad. Did Pittsburgh beat them to death? No. It took a 60-yard Chris Boswell field goal for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh to knock off what is considered to be a bad New York Jet team. The Titans are considered to be bad, right? Rookie quarterback. They go to Denver. That's a 13-12 Broncos lead over the Titans in the fourth quarter. There's a lot of bad teams that almost won in week one. One of those bad teams that didn't almost win was Carolina. And the reason they didn't is because Jacksonville beat them to death on Sunday. I'm not trying to get ahead of the story here. That'll come this weekend if they go to Cincinnati and win. But we always talk about the offseason being the months of hope. Now, in the past, reality has struck us in September in a negative way. We thought they were good in the preseason. They go to the regular season. We figure out very quickly they're not good. What if it's the opposite this year? What if we had very low expectations in year one of Liam Cohen, Gladstone, and Baselli? And what if the reality is, they're considerably better than we thought they were? It'd be a nice change. And maybe that story will start being written on Sunday up in Cincinnati, Ohio, if they can go knock off Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Cincinnati Bengals. More on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to let you hear from head coach Liam Cohen. Some final thoughts on the Tank Bigsby trade as well. We'll also look around the division. What an interesting week one it was in the AFC South. The head coach, Dave Campo, joins me in less than 20 minutes. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville. It is a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida, and you got it locked on Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Get more Gators
And more Prosser and Hickett. Unfiltered.
football insight, analysis, and critique from your breakfast buddies on the Swamp Sessions podcast
From Voodoo Brewing Company.
right after every game.
Streamed live on the 1010XL social channels.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big... Whoa!
See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through September 30th. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services
Thursday nights at 6.
on 1010XL AM.
For the first time ever, Beards Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. Mark your calendar, September 18th through 21st, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. This is a spectacular buying opportunity. Your chance to own the world's premium brands. Ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beard's buyers have scoured the country, handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models. Submariners, Datejust, Skydwellers, Yachtmasters. Over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from at exceptional value prices. Plus, showcases filled with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants, exquisite rare gemstone pieces, the finest estate jewelry in the world at prices you never thought possible. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices from 1 carat to 10 carat. Dazzling rare diamonds marked down to rock bottom. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names, the highest quality, the guaranteed best values. It's Thursday through Sunday, September 18th through 21st. Come early for the best selection. Beards Diamonds at St. John's Town Center.
If you've been in a big truck accident, you need a lawyer that specializes in big trucks. A lawyer who knows all the federal traffic rules that can affect your case.
And who can navigate the complex web of laws dealing with the trucking company, the leasing company, the shipper, and all the other details that can complicate your case.
At Farah & Farah, we've seen it all, and we're ready to go the long haul to fight for you. Jacksonville.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
It's just creating a culture. You know, this camp was one of the most physical camps I've had. You know, our offense, they have a real mentality around running the ball. You know, this year, you know, we have 3 great backs and we got, you know, our 5 down there, ready to run anybody and everybody off the ball. So that's just the culture we're trying to build here, you know, to be as physical as we can. And, you know, knowing and understanding how physical our offense is, we meet their energy as well, too, in the defense. We're coming down here as well, too. So, I mean, iron sharpens iron at the end of the day. So I feel like that's the culture we're trying to build.
The thoughts of Jaguar defensive lineman Dewan Smoot down at the Miller Electric Center. Thank you to our friends at Jaguars.com. Dewan Smoot was one of the guys, I mentioned this last night. You know, we always talk about going young, right? Bringing in young free agents, building a young nucleus. And the Jaguars have that to an extent. But think about some of the guys on defense particular that really got after it on Sunday against Carolina. Dewan Smoot, quarterback sack. Foye Oluokun was our defensive player of the game on the 5th quarter. That guy was fantastic. Andrew Wingard, 8 tackles. Should have had a pick 6. Jordan Lewis in his Jaguar debut. Interception, fumble recovery, quarterback hit, 3 passes defensed. Eric Murray tipping the ball up so Foye could pick it off. Austin Johnson did some nice things as well. The old guard, if you will, the veteran defensive players, boy, they played their tails off, man. Played their tails off in that victory over the Carolina Panthers. Physicality, right? Liam Cohen's preached it. James Gladstone, Tony Baselli have preached it. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to stop the run. They're going to stuff the box. That's what they're going to do. They want to be tough and they want to be physical. And on Sunday against Carolina, 200 yards rushing on 32 carries, averaging over 6 yards a pop. One of the key figures there was Robert Hainsey, the brand new center, in his Jaguar debut. Robert Hainsey was asked at the Miller Electric Center after the game about the offensive line being those culture builders for this franchise?
You know, it's interesting because everyone plays differently. I've played with guys who, you talk about playing with an edge, that meanness, that kind of prick to you. Not everyone plays like that. You look at guys like Zach Martin. Zach Martin played, 10, 11 years of unbelievable football, Hall of Fame level football, first ballot. And he played hard, he played tough, he played fast. But you know, he was here all the time, super steady, same guy every day. So as a group, I felt like we did that, and we established that toughness, and now we have it to grow off of and kind of be more physical, more tough, and continue to grow on that front.
You could legitimately argue the Jaguar offensive line was the best offensive line unit in the NFL this week. 200 yards rushing. Their quarterback did not get sacked. In fact, the analytical world, I saw this. Trevor Lawrence was only pressured on 13% of his dropbacks. Now, again, I'm not smart enough to understand what pressured, is, how that is defined. But I know that I saw the list that Trevor Lawrence on his dropbacks, what they considered to be pressures, was only 13% of his dropbacks. So your quarterback did not get sacked. Your quarterback barely got touched. And you ran the ball for 200 yards. Hacker, it's only Carolina. Yeah, it is. Again, a Carolina team that won more football games than you did a year ago. Liam Cohen also talked to the media yesterday. We'll hear from Liam tomorrow as well at the Miller Electric Center. But tomorrow will be more about the Cincinnati game. Let's get one final thought from Liam Cohen about the win over Carolina and about the physical toughness that this team showed in that win on Sunday.
Yeah, it definitely showed up. It's nice to know a lot of the things that we've been preaching since we arrived did show up yesterday. And was it perfect by any means? No. But to start week one off physically the way we did, you can always, now it gives us a great opportunity with showing that, displaying that, getting the win. Now it allows us to continue to coach hard and to fix some of the issues that we had, clean up the details. But when you can start there and say, guys, look, if this is going to be part of our DNA, for it to show up in week one matters. It does matter because a lot of the things that you're preaching did show up. Whereas if it wouldn't have or didn't, it just becomes a little bit harder. The players are kind of like, well, really? Are we really going to listen to all this? And so it just helps with the team, with our whole buy-in of everything that we're trying to do. And we know to go win games in this league where we would like to, be able to continue to go, we're going to have to be able to do that on both sides of the ball, really in all three phases.
The thoughts of Jacksonville Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen. Again, thank you to our friends at Jaguars.com. So week one in the books. By the way, a great ending to week one last night. Minnesota, come from behind fashion, knocks off Chicago. Denmark, I can be petty about things from time to time. I'm sure you probably know that. Liam Cohen, 1-0. Ben Johnson, 0-1. We'll keep a running tally on that because
and if you don't keep running tally, everybody else will.
All the people that I heard, Ben Johnson this and Ben Johnson that, well, we'll see. Liam Cohen, 1-0. Ben Johnson, 0-1. Check back with me next week to see how they are after 2 games. But a great win for the Minnesota Vikings nonetheless. J.J. McCarthy, I'll tell you, after you throw a pick six like that on Monday Night Football and nothing's going your way and you're losing by 2 scores in the second half, it would have been very easy to say, woe is me. But for that kid in his first career start at night, national TV audience on Soldier Field, to do what he did, that's impressive. That's impressive. That's a good win for the Minnesota Vikings. But I wanted to spend some time on the AFC South. Jacksonville 1-0, Indianapolis 1-0, Tennessee and Houston both 0-1. To Indianapolis first. They looked terrific. Now, the question there is, did they look terrific because they're very good? Or did they look terrific because the Miami Dolphins have checked out on their coach? During the rain delay, I watched a lot of the Colts and the Dolphins. I thought Miami looked horrific. Horrible. Not prepared. I mean, it was across the board. Offense, defense. I don't believe Indianapolis is as good as they looked. I think maybe they're better than I thought, but I don't believe they're 25 points better than the Miami Dolphins. I just don't know what Miami, I mean, the McDaniel hot seat talk is real. And if it wasn't before Sunday, it certainly is now. There's apparently some off-the-field issues surrounding Tyreek Hill. Tua looked bad, really bad. They traded Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith in the offseason. It doesn't look like they replaced them. Minkah Fitzpatrick looked old. Jalen Waddle got banged up. I mean, it was bad on the Miami Dolphin front. Now, Indianapolis, hey, you win a game by 25, you're going to get attention. Daniel Jones, good on you, man. You look good. Can they keep it up? To be determined. I tend to think probably not, but we'll see. I think they got Denver this weekend. It's a nice test. If they go out there and they beat Denver, well, then maybe Indianapolis has something. All right, the Texans. In the words of the late, great Denny Green, they are who we thought they were, or at least who I thought they were. I've been yelling into this microphone every night for the last month. I love the Texan offense, or defense rather. I love the defense, and I absolutely hate the offense. Outside of C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, what do the Houston Texans have on offense that scares anybody? Christian Kirk didn't play. Already injury problems there. Joe Mixon's hurt as well. They got a couple of rookies behind Nico Collins. They got an offensive line that's awful. Love Nick Chubb, love the story, but he's old and has injury problems. He's their replacement for Joe Mixon. Other than Stroud and Collins, I hate the Texan offense. But they do have a terrific defense. And what did we see on Sunday? The Rams only scored 14. The Texan defense did their job. Texan offense couldn't do anything. They did not register a touchdown, I don't believe. I think it was 3 field goals. 14-9, Rams over the Texans. Texans, you realize this, they play Monday Night Football next week against Tampa. And then they come here on a short week in week 3. Texans are on Monday night in week 2, and then they come to Jacksonville on a short week. They're here in Jacksonville in 12 days in what will be a huge AFC South game and maybe a little revenge on the mind of Trevor Lawrence as our friend Azeez Al-Shire will make his return trip to Jacksonville. And then finally, the Titans. I feel bad for Cam Ward. Looks like he's a good player. They just have nothing on offense. Tony Pollard was okay. Calvin Ridley dropped like 3 passes. The offensive line there's bad. Tennessee actually played better on defense than I thought they would. I'll give them credit for that. But they just don't have the talent around Cam Ward to help him this year. And I don't think it's going anywhere. So again, one weekend, Colts 1-0, Jaguars 1-0, Texans 0-1, Titans 0-1. All 4 have pretty interesting matchups. Tennessee plays the Rams in Nashville. Houston plays Tampa on Monday night. Indianapolis gets a good Denver team. And, of course, Jacksonville goes to Cincinnati. We'll talk about that Jaguar-Bengal game coming up in just a moment. My buddy Dave Campo, now living in Dallas, the former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But coach is never going to be more than a phone call away. We'll get him on to recap Jaguars-Panthers and look ahead to Jaguars-Bengals. Before we get there, at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday night in Northeast Florida. Denmark, we're givers here on Hacker After Dark. My question to you is, what do we have for the hardworking men and women of Jacksonville, Florida tonight?
I got a family 4-pack of tickets to the Sporting Jacks versus Carolina at Hodges Stadium Saturday, September 13th. If you want those tickets, hit me up at 641-1010.
A family 4-pack. What date is it?
It's this Saturday.
This Saturday. Family 4-pack this Saturday. If you want to go see some soccer. I've had people go out to those games. They enjoy them. They think they're fun. I tend to agree. I love watching soccer live. Family 4-pack right now. Dylan Denmark will hook you up. Caller 4-641-1010, and that family 4-pack will be yours. The head coach, Dave Campo, next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here, and I was telling you guys last night on Sunday during our broadcast of the fifth quarter, I had a 1010XL listener approach me. It says that I've inspired them with my weight loss journey on Awaken 180 weight loss. They made the call to Awaken 180, and they're actually starting on the program tomorrow, on Wednesday. They know who they are. I wish them the best of luck in their journey. It will be absolutely life-changing for them. Guys, I lost over 100 pounds on Awaken 180 weight loss. If I can do it, you can do it. It has given me my life back. If it's time in your life to regain control, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Again, if I can lose over 100, you can lose significant weight and regain your life. Trust me, with Awaken 180 weight loss.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. The law firm of Farah and Farah and Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Go Gators!
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Millard Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Millard Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Millard Electric Company. Apply today at millardcareers.com. Millard Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bengals, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. 1-0 Cincinnati, 1-0 Jacksonville in what is a pretty big early regular season contest for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about that game. Let's review Carolina, and let's talk about the Tank Bigsby trade. And let's do all of that with my buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, now relocating in the state of Texas. But as we told you before he left, Coach will never be too far away from us here on 1010XL. Coach, hope you're doing well. Hope you're getting settled in out there in the state of Texas.
Yeah, thanks, Hack. Everything's going good, except I got my car run into. So,
oh, man.
I'm going to here for 3 days, but we're kind of settled in now. It's been a grind a little bit with furniture and boxes and all that, but overall, I would say we're pretty settled right now.
Well, yeah, you relocate to Dallas and they trade Micah Parsons right when you get out there. So how about that?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And to be honest with you, I thought the Cowboys handled themselves pretty good against Philly. And to be honest with you, I thought they should have won the game. And that kid they got, Clark, the D lineman, they haven't been able to stop the run in 5 years. And to be honest with you, I was excited to see the way he played, and I thought they actually handled the game pretty well. So, you don't want to get rid of a great player, and you saw Parsons have a good game with Green Bay. So it's a six here or there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. We'll see what happens. Right. But I think both teams probably feel pretty good about that trade. And Dallas, of course, got those 2 first-round picks as well. Coach, let's talk about another trade that happened here in Jacksonville on Monday night. Tank Bigsby to Philadelphia for a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick in next year's draft. The Jaguars now have 13 draft picks in the 2026 draft. Your reaction to Tank being traded to Philadelphia?
Well, I kind of am not surprised from the standpoint as we watched camp. Bigsby started out and he was with the first group on the start of plays, in practice. But all of a sudden, then ETN started showing up a little bit more. And the 2 young kids, really 3 of them, but the 2, Tootin and LeQuint Allen, both kind of stood out. So let me just say this. The one thing I can say for sure is Gladstone is true to his word. He said no vet will keep a young player from developing, and especially their young players, which to me is the true definition of building, not for the present, but for the future. However, winning now it helps the building program. But I look back at my stint with the Cowboys. Coach Landry was let go because he stood pat with loyalty to his old, slow players. Jimmy was in charge of player personnel when he got here and went the opposite and made, first of all, we had Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin in place, but he made the decision to acquire draft picks. And we had that key piece in Aikman to start the building. I tried to do the same thing, but was not in charge of personnel, and we picked the wrong quarterback. If Trevor is the right guy, I think we're in great shape, in my opinion. Get the quarterback right and make the right draft picks and fit what you want your team to be. And it looks like that's the direction they're headed to. And I like their draft picks from this year, and I think another one is going to give them a chance to build. That's kind of a long answer, but that's how I look at it.
The head coach, Dave Campo, with us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, I know even though you're out there in Dallas, you were able to watch the Jaguars in Carolina on Sunday. Dominating win for Jacksonville. I mean, look, that Carolina team, say what you will, but they won more games than Jacksonville did in 2024. They got a second-year coaching staff compared to a first-year coaching staff here in Jacksonville. And the game was never really in doubt. Jacksonville pretty much dominated it. I thought, all the way around, it was a really good performance by the Jaguars. What was your perspective?
Well, first of all, I loved it. Obviously you want to get off to a good start. A win is a win. And like I said earlier, winning helps develop that, that chemistry, that stuff that gives you a chance to be successful. So that was excellent. Now, you have to look at the competition, but I thought Carolina was very similar to us. And there was no question who was, the dominating team in the game. So that's a positive. I think going forward, I think you've got to say, okay, now we play the Cincinnatis of the world, and they struggled a little bit in the first ball game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how our team reacts to that. But defensively, I thought they played extremely well. Really, the only real knock I had on it was they ran a TE game, ET game where the end comes under and the tackle rocks around. And the one really big scramble that their quarterback had was because Hamilton didn't get all the way around outside to contain it. And I don't think I'd have Hamilton trying to contain very often. But I think overall they played well. I think the way they played defense kept Hunter off of playing too much defense. I thought Jerry and Jones did a good job. I thought Lewis did a great job on early downs outside. And when he went inside, he made some critical plays. So I like that part of it. Offensively, I thought Trevor handled himself very well. He had an opportunity to make a big one to Hunter. It might have been underthrown just a little bit, but their guy made a great one-handed play to intercept it. But other than that, I thought they ran the ball real well. So I'm excited at this point. Let's kind of wait and see. We're still waiting to see how some of these guys react against the good teams.
A couple of more for the head coach, Dave Campo. Coach, I've always been of the mindset that when you go bring in free agents, you want to bring in the 25, 26-year-old guy coming into his second contract. And the Jaguars did a little bit of that, but they also brought in a lot of veterans. And I look at those veterans on opening day, Eric Murray, Jordan Lewis, DeJuan Smoot, Austin Johnson. He wasn't brought in, but the veteran that was here, Foye Oluwakin, boy, the old guard, if you will, on the defensive side of the ball, those guys really got after it on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. They all made big plays. It was unbelievable. But as I look at that part of it, I think that's an example of what this regime is trying to do. They're not going to get rid of everybody. They're going to go. A perfect example is ETN. I thought ETN had an outstanding game. If those guys that you mentioned, plus a guy like ETN, is going to perform, they made that decision. That's why they didn't get rid of those guys or bring guys like that in. So as I look at it, I think they have a really clear picture of what they want this football team to look like. And, when you see what happens this year, that'll make a determination of what they do next year.
You look at Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., Coach, combining for 7 grabs for 44 yards. Obviously, BTJ had the touchdown on the reverse. The running game was cooking, so maybe that's why the passing game, the numbers were lacking. I know Trevor missed a couple where BTJ was open. But as you mentioned, the competition ramps up this week with Cincinnati. You got to get BTJ particularly. He only had 1 catch for 11 yards. And Travis Hunter involved probably more so down the field than what we saw last week.
Yeah, I think that'll happen. I think, number one, I think Cincinnati, in order for us to win that game, we're going to have to rush Burrow. We're going to have to get some pressure on them. And I don't think their offensive line is very good. I mean, we're worried about our offensive line. I think theirs is much worse than ours at this point. So we've got to get pressure on them and then we've got to protect their defense. They have some guys that can rush the passer. We're going to have to protect. But again, it's going to come down to how well we run the football. And I think it's going to be a good football game from what I saw. It'll be a real good test for us, to be perfectly honest with you, because now the next 3 or 4 games are important ball games.
Final moments with the head coach, Dave Campo. Yeah, it'll certainly be a measuring stick game for the Jaguars. You're a defensive guy and a defensive back guy at heart. How do you go about stopping Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
Well, I mean, that's a very difficult task. You just said Travis Hunter and BTJ. That's a chore. And I think in order to do that, you've got to be able to use some double cover stuff. And in order to do that, you have to stop the run. And so I think, from what I saw, the only guy I can't understand, and maybe you know more than I do, what happened to Mason?
Mason Smith. He was a healthy scratch is basically what happened. Now, Liam Cohen was asked about it on Monday, and he talked about the time he had missed. But at the end of the day, you look at that defensive line room interiorly. I mean, you got Eric Armstead, you got Colin Saunders, you got Austin Johnson, you got Devon Hamilton. They have a lot of guys in there. And I don't know how you sit down Saunders or Johnson after the performance last week.
Yeah, that's going to be a decision. And I think I can see the decision on that one because Armstead wasn't there either, but he's a veteran. Mason Smith hasn't had enough reps yet. I understand that. But I tell you what, to me, that's an example of Mason Smith has to beat these other guys out before he gets on the field. And that's kind of been their mantra from day one. We'll put a veteran out there, but he better perform or else we're going to play our young players. And I think that's probably why Bigsby's gone. They got young players. They got a solid room and could still pick up some draft picks. So I like Mason Smith. I'm hopeful that he's going to beat somebody out and get in there and start playing.
Coach, final question. We got 60 seconds. From one former NFL head coach talking about a current NFL head coach. I thought Liam Cohen, his first NFL head coaching game against Carolina, to go for it on literally the opening drive from his own 37-yard line. You want to talk about setting a tone? You want to talk about building an identity? That took some stones for a first-year head coach to do that, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got to give him credit on that one because I would have punted. But, it is a great statement in a way. But then you look at some of the other stuff. The reverse to number 7. He's not afraid to go out of the box a little bit. And I think that bodes well. And when it got in the second half, when they had control of the game, he ran the football. I liked everything about his play call, and that's exciting. I think scheme matters. I think you saw the power game, which is going to be the key to the whole thing, in my opinion. The down kick out game. I think he called a really good game, and I'm looking forward to that going forward.
He'll always be our head coach on Hacker After Dark. My friend Dave Campo, now living out in the state of Texas, but Coach is always going to be only just a phone call away. Coach, get settled in out there. We appreciate it, buddy, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Appreciate it, and best of luck. Let's go Jags.
Go! For high school football play-by-play, it's 1010XL.
The Bulldogs look for a big bounce-back game against the undefeated Crusaders. Bulls Bishop Kenny, Friday at 7 on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, it's game time. And just like the Jaguars fight for every yard on the field, Duck Duck Rooter fights for every customer at home. From plumbing repairs to septic pump outs to keeping your AC cool all season long, we've got the winning playbook. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and delivers championship service every time. When plumbing, septic, or AC problems put you on defense, don't fumble the call. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
For the first time ever, Beards Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. Mark your calendars, September 18th through the 21st, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. Spectacular buying opportunity, your chance to own the world's premium brands. You know when Beards has a sale, it's the real deal. And this one's extraordinary because of these amazing brands like Rolex. Are you ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beards buyers have scoured the country, handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models, submariners, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, Yacht Masters, over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from. Plus, Beard showcases are packed with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices from 1 carat to 10. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names. It's Thursday through Sunday, September 18th through the 21st. Plan to come early. Beards Diamonds, not another corporate chain store. Your locally owned jeweler, Beards at the St. John's Town Center.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Your family can enjoy a special day of fun with games, food, and live music while remembering the sacrifices of our nation's prisoners of war at the National POW MIA Recognition Day, September 20th. Learn more at POWMIAmemorial.org.
Shuffle up and deal for a cause. Let's go all in to help others out. Join the Hold'em for Life poker tournament coming up September 20th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Every hand helps the Women's Help Center support expectant mothers and newborns.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
More Jaguar conversation coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Mark Duffner, 50 years coaching experience, joins me. Also, we'll talk a little college football with Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. That comes up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Speaking of college football, what a weekend we have in store, man. Georgia, Tennessee, South Florida, Miami, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Alabama, and, oh yeah, Florida and LSU in Baton Rouge on Saturday night. I don't know if I've mentally recovered from Florida's loss to USF. I went to a dark place there for about 10 minutes on Saturday night. I was just flabbergasted at the way the coaching was handled, at the conduct of the players, particularly Bet, the defensive tackle who spit in the South Florida lineman's face. Again, I was so disgusted by that. He'd never play football for me again if I was in charge of Florida. He'd be off the team. You know, you can say this, that, and the other, that he's really sorry and all that, and I don't care. That's not the way I want my school represented, but that's not what's going to happen, apparently, because I guess he's good against the run. So we'll let him spit in people's faces if he can stop the run, and we'll punish him internally. I'm still a fan of Billy Napier. I like him as a person. I just think it's about time that he's not the football coach at Florida much longer. And I didn't feel that way before the USF game. I mean, obviously I knew that the hot seat talk was probably going to start back up if they were to lose to LSU and Miami and Texas. You know, at that point, the seat would have been burning again. And maybe it's just a little bit before I thought we would get there. But that clock management, that play calling, that conduct by his team, you know, you can't say you're a disciplined football team. You can't say, you got a bunch of good young men on your football team when they're spitting in their opponents' faces. And if you're not winning, at least you can fall back on, well, we're a disciplined team. So now you're not winning and you're not a disciplined team. So what are we doing? So I think it's a matter of time, and I do think this time it is a matter of time before Billy Napier is gone. Deservingly so or not, it's just the reality. Again, they're not going to beat LSU and Miami in back-to-back weeks on the road. They're just not. They might get one of them, but I would be stunned beyond belief if they won both of them. So then you're looking at 2-2 going into your bye week. At best, you split Texas and Texas A&M, although I tend to doubt that. But for the sake of the conversation, let's say they split them. Now you're 3-3. You going to beat Georgia? You going to go to Ole Miss and win? You going to beat Tennessee? You going to beat Florida State? Heck, for that matter, are you going to beat Mississippi State? They just beat a top 15 team in the country in Arizona State last Saturday. The hardest schedule in America actually looks harder now than it did 2 weeks ago. So with all that being said, I got a quick thought on who I would want to replace Billy Napier. I think if the day comes that Billy's gone, the first person you call is Marcus Freeman. He'll probably say no, but you make him say no. You make the call to Marcus Freeman. I then think you call Dan Lanning. He will probably say no because he's got Phil Knight's $1 billion vault up there in Eugene, Oregon. But I would make him tell me no. And then I got one kind of under the radar a little bit. Gator fans are not going to like this idea. But the more I watch this guy, particularly in the last 15 games that he's coached, the more I'm starting to like this guy. He doesn't have a great win-loss record. It's not going to be a flashy or sexy hire. But I'll tell you who I'm intrigued by. And I'll be really intrigued by him if he wins this weekend. That's Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt went 7-6 last year at Vanderbilt, including beating Alabama. He just went into Blacksburg, and his team beat Virginia Tech by 24. Now, they got a big one against South Carolina. But I would not hate it if Clark Lee were at least in the conversation to be potentially the next head man at Florida. I know I heard Frangie talking about the John Gruden stuff on his show. That's a fascinating idea. I don't know how I would feel about that necessarily, but I love the thought that Frank threw out there. Denmark, as an alum, you got a short list in your mind already of people to replace Billy if that day comes?
Yeah, it's Lane Kiffin 1, Lane Kiffin 2, Lane Kiffin 3.
Yeah.
You sit him down, you say, what's your number? Let's get this contract done, and thank you for your business.
I almost think that ship has sailed, man.
Why?
Because every time a big job in the SEC comes up, it's always Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin. And he just never seems to leave Ole Miss. Plus, he has a daughter that goes there now, right? And she's like a sophomore. Is he going to leave his daughter there to take another job?
His daughter could come to Florida with him.
Well, maybe.
Got a transfer.
I don't know.
I mean,
but me personally, I would absolutely call Marcus Freeman and Dan Lanning before Lane Kiffin. Now, Would Lane Kiffin be a fallback over Clark Lee? Well, yeah, obviously. But I'm just not sure how realistic Lane Kiffin is anymore. Do you like the Marcus Freeman or Dan Lanning ideas?
Yeah, but I don't see those guys leaving. I mean, I would be more than shocked if those guys leave.
Does the Clark Lee idea do anything for you?
Who?
Clark Lee from Vanderbilt.
That would be more plain than white rice.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Sometimes, hey, you know was also plain. It was a really plain hire. Dan Mullen was a really plain hire, and they had 3 consecutive 10-win seasons. Dan Mullen was the 5th choice in that coaching search.
Yes, he was, but you know what he could do with his offense, man.
Yeah, he hated recruiting, and that didn't seem to bother anybody.
No, it didn't.
I don't know. We'll see. And we say all this and watch Florida will go out there and beat LSU on Saturday. I don't think they're going to beat LSU, but I bet they keep it close. Halftime, Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you till 10 o'clock. We'll get back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. They start getting ready for Cincinnati. That conversation is next right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
From the huddle to the perfect spiral.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
The quarterback whisperer. He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drip. Wrapped up by George Moore Chevrolet and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here. And, during football season, I often look at pictures of myself from years gone by, and I just simply can't believe it. I can't believe that's what I let myself get to when I was well over 300 pounds. And I look at pictures of myself now, and it's night and day. I look like a completely different person. And it's all thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss, the best weight loss program I've ever been on. I got weekly coaching, weekly guidance. I had a plan made up for me. It was simple. You follow the plan, you do what you're instructed to do, and the weight falls off. Over 100 pounds is what I lost thanks to the great folks of Awaken 180. I'm on the maintenance program now. I still get coaching whenever I need it. If it's time for you to drop the weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business. Window World, simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 9, 2018, Chris Boswell misses a field goal in overtime as the Steelers tie the Browns 21-21, ending the Browns' 17-game losing
Expert
streak.
Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
9 o'clock hour has arrived in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark. Week 1 of the NFL season in the books. Putting some finishing touches on some storylines. It started with Jalen Carter. Doesn't that seem like a really long time ago? Spitgate? It's 5 days ago. Jalen Carter, the former Georgia Bulldog, ejected 6 seconds into the season opener against Dallas. The NFL has handed out punishment. He was fined over $57,000. And he will not be suspended because the NFL is saying he basically served a suspension on Thursday night because he did not actually play a defensive snap in the game against the Dallas Cowboys. That's probably fair. I mean, he basically did have a 1-game suspension. He did not play a snap against Dallas, which means he will be in the lineup for Philadelphia this weekend as they take on Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers have some injury problems, including tight end George Kittle with a hamstring. George Kittle placed on the IR. He's going to miss at least the next 4 games. In Jacksonville, Florida, do you know what that means? That means when the Jaguars go to San Francisco 19 days from today, the 49ers will not have the services of George Kittle. Remember what George Kittle did to the Jaguars the last time these two teams met? What was it, a 75-yard touchdown on like the first play of the second half? Yikes. That was awful. But that won't be the case this time around because George Kittle will miss the game against Jacksonville. Again, a hamstring issue for Kittle. He has been placed on IR. He will miss at least the next 4 weeks. You know, I mentioned some issues for the Miami Dolphins on top of the fact that they just looked awful on Sunday in their loss to the Indianapolis Colts, but now some off-the-field stuff has come to light as well. Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill has been accused of domestic violence. Certainly not a situation that anybody wants to hear about, anybody wants to see. We'll let the process play itself out, but when you look as bad as Miami did on Sunday, and then you have a situation like this come up on Tuesday, not good right now in Miami, Florida for the Dolphins organization. So we'll see what ultimately does happen with Tyreek Hill. And you'd have to think of all the NFL coaches on the hot seat getting it back to football. Isn't Mike McDaniel probably on the hottest seat out there right now? If you were to put bets on a team or a coach that will not make the season, all right, Mike McDaniel would be the leader in the clubhouse. Massive uptick. I thought this was interesting. NFL kickoffs. A massive uptick in NFL kickoff returns in week 1. That's what the NFL wanted, right? That's why they have the rule that they do and the kickoff the way it is. Last year, though, we still saw a lot of touchbacks. This year, they're basically forcing the kicking team's hand. You don't want to give the ball to the opponent on the 35 or the 40-yard line. They're basically forcing you to have to cover a kick now. They want returns back in the game. And according to the data from week 1, they're getting returns back into the game at a much, much larger rate than in previous years. I also thought this was interesting as we close out back to Miami. The Dolphins are so banged up on the offensive line that they have just claimed former New England Patriots first-round pick Cole Strange off a practice squad in the NFL. He's now on the Dolphins' 53-man roster. And there is a better chance than not that he will start. Dolphins claimed him today. There's a better chance than not that he will start for Miami in 5 days when they take on his former team in the New England Patriots. How banged up do you have to be on the O-line to claim a guy and 5 days later start him? Yikes. More on the NFL coming up, but let's get back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. The win over Carolina. Let's preview Cincinnati. And let's preview Cincinnati with a man that was a senior defensive analyst for the Cincinnati Bengals for the last 6 seasons. He's now retired. He's back here living in Jacksonville, but from 2019 to 2024, he was part of the Bengals organization. He certainly knows them pretty well. My friend Mark Duffner, 50 years in the NFL and collegiate coaching ranks. He joins us next here on Hacker After Dark.
What could Jacksonville do better? Find out from one of our best ever as David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Monday from 10 to noon. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, get ready. Comedian Chris D'Elia is coming to Florida Theater November 30th with his brand new tour, Straight Out of the Multiverse.
Like, yo, you can't just make up a saying like you're Yoda and then the conversation's over. You gotta mean something when you talk. And don't tweet a picture of a salad.
It's bold, it's wild, and it's Chris D'Elia like you've never seen him before. Live on stage for one night only. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com. floridatheater.com.
Guess what? That would be random.
Chris D'Elia, November 30th at Florida Theater.
XL Prime Time is back where they belong.
Wait a minute, I know where that is.
Lunch is on Josie, Matt Hayes, and Leon.
You could lay a little barbecue on us?
From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
But somebody else is going to have to cook it.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop right now. At Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in at a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. So start now by calling 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned. Whether you're sitting or standing, if you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jax. And go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Jacksonville is football season, and Duck Duck Rooter is proud to be on your home team. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we tackle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning problems with championship-level service. Keep an eye out for our custom Jaguar wrap plumbing vans rolling around town. They're hard to miss and always ready for the next play at your home or business. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, trust Duck Duck Rooter to keep you in the game. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the duck.
If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
On game day, you trust your team. On storm day, trust the people's roofer. Morgan Conley Roofing. Born here, built here, staying here. MorganConleyRoofing.org. License number CCC 1333544.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bengals, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL, a battle of 1-0 teams in what looks to be a pretty big measuring stick game early in the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about the win over Carolina. Let's talk about the trading of Tank Bigsby, and let's certainly look ahead to the game on Sunday against Cincinnati with the coach, Mark Duffner. 50 years on the coaching sideline, and the coach is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, pal?
We're doing great, Hacker. Pleasure to be with you.
Hey, Coach, we always appreciate it. All right, I want to get your thoughts on Carolina in a moment, but obviously the big news this week is the trading Monday night of Tank Bigsby. The Jaguars send Tank to Philadelphia in exchange for a 5th and 6th round pick in next year's draft. Your overall thoughts when you saw what the Jaguars did in that trade?
Well, Hacker, I think, number one, I like the move. I like how James Gladstone is aggressive in trying to make the team, constantly trying to make the roster and the team better and better. So getting the draft choices for Tank, I think, are very, very positive. That running back room had good depth. I think that the way that ETN certainly played in the game, against the Panthers didn't hurt that thought or that process because he had a tremendous ball game. But when you look at the depth with Tank, with ETN, with Tootin, with the other two young players, and I think you've got, a tremendous group there. Quentin Allen, what he can do. I mean, so I think it makes a good move for the team moving forward, and again, James trying to make the roster better and better.
Well, the interesting thing too, Coach, now with that trade, the Jaguars have 13 draft picks in the 2026 draft. And keep in mind, they don't even have their first rounder because of the Travis Hunter trade, and they still have 13 draft picks. So I don't know what that'll mean come April, but my goodness, they have a lot of draft picks right now.
Well, sure, and I think that's going to help them in measurable ways, whether to move up within the draft, whether to apply those to possibly picking up current pro free agents in the offseason. It's just I think it gives them a lot of play, a lot of opportunity, and again, I like the thinking on it, and I think it was a positive move.
The coach, Mark Duffner, with us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, to the game against Carolina, look, dominating performance, I thought. The game was really never in doubt in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars haven't had many of those on the victorious side in a while. Your overall thoughts on the Jaguars' performance in that win on Sunday?
Well, I thought it was excellent, really. I mean, I think that the team came out and accomplished a lot of what Liam Cohen had designed for them, to play physically, to run the football, to play good defense, to execute in special teams. Really, all three groups, contributed in a big way. I mean, I think that just from the opening drive, you saw really what the DNA of this team was going to be. I mean, they came out and the first drive, they take a shot to Brian Thomas. They had tempo. Liam went for it on 4th and 1 on his own 37-yard line, which I thought was, a real statement of confidence for the offensive line and the run game. The quarterback, I thought Lawrence used hard count. He got Carolina to jump off sides. There was a lot of shift in motions. They scored on the first drive with a field goal. So, I think that was kind of indicative of how the game was going to go. They came out and played well. I think, too, that the fact that he got the ball to Hunter, I think he had 6 catches in the game. They mixed up the running game in terms of having some not only perimeter runs, but what we call gap runs, traps and counters, and one back power play. So, I thought it was very good. They scored on sudden change. I liked when Trevor scrambled. I think he scrambled about 3 times when he didn't have the ability to throw the football. That's going to add to their success on offense. They had a 91-yard drive when they were backed up for a touchdown, and all the runs were rushing plays. So once again, spearheaded by a 71-yard run by ETN, but I think that was indicative of kind of the style play you're going to see. I thought the reverse to Brian Thomas was an excellent call down in the red zone. So, I thought it was a positive start. Offensively, the offensive line really gave up no sacks. I think the quarterback got hit once. Trevor did on the grounding that he had, where he kind of just probably looked at the receiver a little too long and got a penalty he shouldn't have gotten. But offensively, a very positive start. I think a little too many penalties. I'll get that squared away. The delay of game that they had coming out of the timeout in 2 minutes wasn't really good, but that was that. Defensively, I thought that Anthony really called a good game. He mixed run and pressure well, I thought. I think the quarterback, as the game went on, Young felt the pressure and saw the pressure and hurried throws. But to get 3 takeaways, to play well and sudden change, played good in 2 minutes at the end of the half. I think they had 2 fourth and short stops and give up only 10 points. I think that was a heck of a start in terms of what this team put together, in terms of opening ball game.
The coach, Mark Duffner, here with us on 1010XL. Coach, I completely agree, and I love the veteran presence on defense. Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, DeJuan Smoot, Austin Johnson, Foye Oluwakin, Eric Armstead to an extent. I mean, all of the quote-unquote veteran guys really stood out on opening day.
Oh, my gosh, yes. I mean, like you just said, Foye with the 10 tackles, the interception, the forced fumble, he's always around the ball and making plays when you need it the most. Like you mentioned, Smoot had a sack and a batted pass when he came in. The guys, Lewis, Jordan Lewis, when he comes in, fumble recovery, interception, had a quarterback hit. I think he had 3 pass defenses that were well done. You mentioned Murray. He has a tip pass in the game. Campbell played well with 6 hits at the corner position. And then Dewey Winger, he had 8 tackles. He was active as heck, and then had the interception that for a touchdown, had we not had a penalty, I think it was by Murray on the play. But, new additions, veteran additions contributed. Veteran players that we had contributed. I thought, really, with tackling being good in the game, I think they affected the quarterback. They gave up very few explosive plays. I thought it was really a really good effort by the entire team. And then when you look at special teams, we know we take that for granted. But, geez, what they did, the punter was over 55 yards. Cook was 4 field goals by Little, and they had an onside kick recovery. I mean, pretty impressive total team effort in the opening game.
No, there's no doubt about that. Again, Mark Duffner here with us. Let's get to Cincinnati on Sunday. Now, you have a very unique perspective here for people that don't know. Coach Duff was with Cincinnati for the past 6 years, from 2019 to 2024 as a senior defensive analyst. The Jaguars go up there on Sunday. Certainly going to be a measuring stick game, Coach, for the Jaguars. It's Cincinnati's home opener. They're feeling pretty good about themselves after coming off that victory over Cleveland, and it's all going to begin with how do you stop Joe Burrow and obviously those 2 dynamic receivers there with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Well, I think Cincinnati, they accomplished, the Bengals accomplished a real key goal, and that was to come out 1-0, to beat a good Cleveland team, especially a good Cleveland defense. And because they've struggled in the past there with the opening starts of the season in terms of the opening game or 2. And so to get that 1-0 position with the win is very helpful to them. But I'll say this to you about it. They will come in right now trying to get that offense back on track. They didn't play as well as I know they expected. I mean, geez, they had really, they just wound up having, I think, 17 points, which was probably the second lowest since Joe's been the quarterback there. And then the second half, I think they only had 7 yards and maybe 3 points. So from a production standpoint, the offense was not what everybody expected, and so I think that across the board there, you'll get their best coming out. I mean, T. Higgins only had, I think, 3 catches. I think Jamar Chase had 2. They ran the ball. They came out really deciding to run the football. I mean, their balance in terms of run and pass selection was just about 50-50. But the running game only netted about 2 yards a carry. So I know that's an area they want to get better at. And, they'll focus on continuing to do that. But I think you're going to get a real determined effort in terms of trying to get the offense going at the level they expect. And nobody can do it much better than what Joe Burrow does. He'll have a great week of practice and preparation, and we'll get their best shot as far as that's concerned, I'm sure. They did score on the first possession, which was really, really key. I think as far as on the defensive side of the football, they played particularly better in the second half. And that's when they were able to, garner 2 takeaways, which were really critical in the win for Cincinnati. Interception by Jordan Battle at safety and an interception by DJ Turner at the nickel corner position, really on balls that were seemingly almost caught by Cleveland that Hustle allowed the Bengals to make the interception. So, I think that they were a bend not break type defense in the game, and that's what it matters, is what the final score is. But I think you're going to get a really good effort out of that team in terms of them trying to, improve, just like every team will be from game 1 to game 2.
Coach, final question. You look at that Cincinnati offense, there is no doubt the type of player that Joe Burrow is. Obviously, Jamar Chase might be the best wide receiver in football. T. Higgins might be among the best top 15 wide receivers in football. I also like Chase Brown, Gesicki at tight end. I mean, they're loaded. If they are susceptible on offense, it appears to be that offensive line. I know they've had issues with the offensive line in the past. They've tried to correct some issues. Some have been corrected. Some, quite frankly, maybe have not been corrected. So it is going to be critical for the Jaguar defense to get pressure on Burrow on Sunday.
No question about that. I mean, they struggled protecting Joe. I think there was 3 sacks in the game, and I think he got hit a number of times. So that's always been a concern, as it is for every team, to protect your quarterback. And then, as mentioned in the running game, where they committed, I think, really, quite a few snaps towards trying to get that done to add balance to the attack. I think 23 passes and 23 runs are what they had in the game. They still only netted about 2 yards a carry. So the offensive line and the defensive line, matchup will be very, very important in this game. And again, that's where I think our edge guys, 41 and 44 are going to have to be around that quarterback as much as possible and finish at the quarterback. Those will be key components, I think, to the success that, the Jaguars will want to have against the Bengals.
Always love talking ball with the coach, Mark Duffner, who's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, enjoy the ball game on Sunday, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
All right, Hacker. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Hey, bro. Weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me."
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Blue here for the blue.
Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Chip Davis, director of the Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament. We are fast approaching our 16th annual tournament benefiting the Jacksonville School for Autism. With the help of our amazing community, we raised over $1.4 million the last 15 years. This year's tournament will be held at Palm Valley Outdoors on the Intercoastal Waterway. Captain's meeting is Thursday night, October 9th, and the tournament is Saturday, October 11th. I'm inviting you and your family to come out and enjoy our tournament festivities, raise some money, and support autism awareness. Special thanks to U.S. Army Recruitment Jacks for their support. Flounder Pounder for Autism 2025. See you there.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for the Jaguars and proud member of Jacksonville's newest orthopedic dream team. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we brought together 10 board-certified fellowship-trained surgeons, each one a specialist in their field, all working together to deliver smarter, faster care with better results. From sports injuries to joint replacements, we've got the right player for every position. Visit osjax.com and meet your team. That's osjax.com.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Hey, it's Lauren Brooks. Looking and feeling great isn't just for women. Hello Smooth Med Spa has something for everyone. Laser hair removal, wrinkle smoothing, skincare, and more. With over 400 plus 5-star reviews and over a decade in business, they know their stuff. Book now at hellosmooth.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Packer After Dark on 1010XL.
All right, that definitely deserves a wow, Denmark. Caught me off guard with that information.
Thought he said that when I was an intern.
I don't know.
I guess you weren't in the room at the time.
That's funny. You learn something new every day here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coming up in less than 5 minutes, my buddy Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com, talking Florida State. Going to be a great weekend of college football. Best weekend we've had so far. The SEC, I mean, you got 2-0 versus 2-0 with Arkansas and Ole Miss. 2-0 versus 2-0 with Vanderbilt, South Carolina. 2-0 versus 2-0 with Georgia and Tennessee, probably the game of the week. And then 1-1 versus 2-0 with Florida and LSU. And, of course, Florida-LSU is the night game on the Bayou. Saturday night, ABC in Baton Rouge. After Florida cost LSU a playoff spot last year, boy, that could be a tough putt for the Gators. You also have Alabama, Wisconsin. You also have South Florida, Miami. That might be the best game ever on the CW network. I guess they decide these networks, a couple weeks in advance. I saw South Florida, Miami, two top 20 teams going at it at 4:30 Saturday afternoon on the CW. I'll watch it. Heck, can South Florida do it 3 weeks in a row? Man, they knocked off Boise State. They knocked off Florida. They can't do it to Miami, too, right? Let's talk about all of it, including the disaster that's going on in Gainesville right now, the great season Florida State's having, and all points in between. My buddy Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, does a terrific job covering college football. He joins me next, right here on a Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark.
It's a clash of the big cats, spots, and stripes. Who rules the jungle? Find out Sunday at 1. Jaguars, Bengals, on the home of the Jaguars, 1010 XL.
This is Hayes Carlion, here from a driver who made the smart move to buying a vehicle from Atlantic Infinity.
Hayes, this is my second Infinity, so I knew exactly what I wanted, and Atlantic Infinity made it so easy for me. The GM Dwayne had my new ride ready to go, and I was in and out of the dealership in about 30 minutes. The Atlantic Infinity promise just sealed the deal for me. It's $2,500 in added value, including roadside assistance. I am so happy with my new car.
Atlantic Infinity, Atlantic, near St. John's Bluff.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through September 30th. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
It's a magical phone line.
Check this out.
It brings you things you can't get anywhere else, like insider insight from sports experts. Listen for the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Check. Every day on 1010XL.
For the first time ever, Beards Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. Mark your calendar, September 18th through 21st, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. This is a spectacular buying opportunity. Your chance to own the world's premium brands. Ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beards buyers have scoured the country, handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models: Submariners, Datejust, Skydwellers, Yachtmasters. Over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from at exceptional value prices. Plus, showcases filled with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants, exquisite rare gemstone pieces, the finest estate jewelry in the world at prices you never thought possible. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices, from 1 carat to 10 carats. Dazzling rare diamonds marked down to rock bottom. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names, the highest quality, the guaranteed best values. It's Thursday through Sunday, September 18th through 21st. Come early for the best selection. Beards Diamonds at St. John's Town Center.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and LSU this Saturday. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio as the Gator fans, Gator Nation, are still trying to recover from what was, well, quite frankly, an atrocious loss to USF this past Saturday, and their reward for that now is to go to the Bayou on a Saturday night and play a very good LSU football team. Let's talk about Florida. Let's spend some time certainly on Florida State as well. One of our guys when it comes to college football is Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com, and Ryan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Recovered from a couple interesting weeks of college football in the NFL this past weekend. So hope everything's good on your end, though.
Oh, everything's good with the Jaguars. They got a nice win over Carolina, which the people here in Northeast Florida really, really needed because people in Gainesville believe the sky is falling. At least the fan base does. That was a ridiculous loss to USF, Ryan, correct?
Yeah, no, it was. It was. I mean, what was it, like a 3-touchdown spread or something like that? Like, it was something crazy at that point, right? So, like, it was, and I know we talked about it last year. Obviously, you go into last season, there's a lot of doubters about Billy Napier. You're about halfway through the season, there's a lot of doubters about Billy Napier, and then he has the November that he has last year and kind of gets things seemingly rolling, and you have your quarterback in DJ Lagway, and you've talked yourself into it, right? Like, the recruiting's getting a little bit better. There seems to be buy-in, at least, because that was a team last year that certainly could have just mailed it in down the stretch of the season, and they didn't. They played hard for Coach Napier, and you have your quarterback, and you feel okay about it going into the year. But I mean, you have a daunting schedule. I know you mentioned like LSU coming up here, but like the next 5 weeks are brutal, because like before the season, you're like, oh, at least you have Mississippi State tucked in there. But Mississippi State just beat Arizona State. So like even they're potentially getting a little bit better. So there really is no perceived off week the next like 5-6 weeks, which is just going to be an absolute tough time, I think, for this Florida program, because, hey, man, on paper, you were the more talented team than South Florida. You lost that game because South Florida came into the swamp and they were better prepared. They were better coached. And I think that was the end of it in the sense of, what was the difference in the football game? Nobody's leaving that game saying, wow, South Florida was so much more talented than the Florida Gators. It's just simply that they were outcoached and they made bigger plays in the biggest moments of the game to be able to win the football game. So sky feels like it's falling down there. And honestly, it probably should feel that way, because that is an embarrassing loss and a loss that should never happen, even though I do think South Florida is a good football team, but you can't lose to them if you're the Florida Gators.
Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com. To me, my biggest indictment on Billy, and I had defended Billy for a long time, it was indefensible what happened on Saturday. South Florida misses a 58-yard kick. Florida has the ball up 1 with 2:45 roughly to go. They throw it on first down. All right, I wouldn't have, but I don't mind that. It's incomplete. Then they run a halfback dive. South Florida calls the timeout. And then I believe on third down, they wanted to run, they got to get a first down that essentially ices the game. So DJ does a 5-step drop and throws a seam route up there, or I guess a sideline route, a vertical route to a true freshman in Vernell Brown. I mean, that's what you came up with on a third down that was going to basically decide the game. And then the timeout situation at the end. Look, you wouldn't have had much time left, but to basically carry those timeouts to the finish line with you, again, is unexplainable. I don't know what Billy Napier was thinking.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually texting a couple friends in a group chat that I'm in about kind of the end sequence there, and particularly the final offensive drive before USF went down. It just felt very like you were playing it safe, And I mean, one, I think that kind of passiveness kind of comes back to haunt you a lot. I mean, we always talk about, like prevent defense only prevents wins, right? And like I felt like the whole sequencing down the stretch was not only questionable, but I just felt like it was very, like they just thought that their defense was going to be able to hold, and that they were just going to be able to get out of there with a tough win. But hey, you still are undefeated, and let's keep moving forward. I don't like that ideology, right? Like, you're the Florida Gators, you're a more talented football team. Go for the juggler. Like, let's win the football game. Like, go win it. Don't let the other team lose it. I mean, that's kind of the thought process and the strategy that I always kind of lean in towards, especially when you're the more talented football team. And man, I had so many emotions, because I really thought, when that game was, I can't remember what the score was, but like it was like the middle of the third quarter going into the end of the third quarter, and South Florida was winning, but then there was a little bit of a flip of momentum. And I remember in our company group chat at A to Z, actually, I kind of said, like, wow, I don't think that South Florida's going to be able to hold on to this, but like, what a great just performance by them. But then the fact that Golesh and his team is able to really stifle them, and someone said something interesting, and you mentioned the 58-yard field goal. That was a really interesting decision, because 158 yards is crazy, but also if you miss that field goal, you're putting your defense in a pretty awkward situation. And that shows that USF was not afraid of the Florida offense, right? Like, it showed a little bit of, we think we can be here and we think we can win this football game. Like, we don't need to take chances and hope to get lucky. They were playing a football game strategy of, we think that we can beat them toe to toe. And ultimately they did in the end. So yeah, man, it's the the vibes are bad right now. Like, the vibes are bad. You know, when you talk about the best programs in college football, Florida is not far down the list of like these premier programs that teams want to be good every single year. And right now, I mean, like, barring something unforeseen and a flip of the script, there needs to be new life into this program somewhere. There needs to be new energy because the energy is really, really bad right now.
And again, I want to get to Florida State because they deserve some of our time here. But to me, a frustrating thing, too, is you know what's going to happen on Saturday. It's what always happens. They lose a ridiculous game to USF, and they're going to go play LSU tough. But in the fourth quarter, they're going to figure out a way to lose, just like they did to Tennessee last year on the road. But you can say, oh, well, we showed a lot of moxie, and we came in there and gave it our all, and we almost pulled the upset, and this, that, and the other. And just a round and round situation. Just a lot of frustration, Ryan, as you can probably hear in my voice down here with Billy Napier. It was that way for Mike Norvell last year, and then he went out and got a whole new coaching staff. And good heavens, I mean, they beat Alabama. Now they beat East Texas A&M. I'm not going to give them a ton of credit for that, but nevertheless, Florida State, one of the biggest surprises in America early in the season.
Man, it's a great story, too, because, I mean, after, 2 years ago, everyone's crowning Coach Norvell, obviously, for the job he had done the previous couple under Florida State and being able to get them back towards the top of the country. And then to be able to go 2-10 and again, like, the vibes are horrible. And he comes into the season with the target firmly on his back. Like, is he able to escape from this? Is he able to turn this around? And it's a new cast of characters, like you said. I mean, they have dove deep into the transfer portal. And then you also have Thomas Castellanos all offseason talking trash on Alabama, right? So, like, I honestly thought before that game, I was like, man, I don't like this. Like, I think Alabama might kill this team because why are you trash talking right now in this type of situation? But you have to give Coach Norvell a lot of credit, at least early on in this season, man. Like, it looks like this team completely different. And from not only a personnel perspective, but from a energy buy-in perspective. Like, there's a couple players that are no longer on that team that I think it may have been a good situation for them to no longer be a part of the program, just because I think that there was a little bit of dead weight and some guys that maybe didn't believe quite as much as some of these guys do now. But I saw a team that was physical. I saw a team that had pure buy-in. And ultimately, if you are good in the trenches, which they really were against Alabama, you have a chance to have a sneaky good season. So I don't know if that ends up being 9-3, 10-2, knocking on the door of a playoff berth in the ACC. Like, I'm not really sure what it ends up being, but all I know is that team looks night and day different from what they were last year.
Final moments, Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Yeah, Florida State off to a great start. Miami's off to a good start as well. And I'll tell you, it's funny when these TV deals are announced a couple weeks in advance to the different networks. How about the CW network gets South Florida and Miami this week? All of a sudden, a top 20 battle. That's got to be the greatest game ever on the CW network at 4:30, which is interesting. South Florida can't do it 3 weeks in a row, can they? They beat Boise. They beat Florida. Can they go down to Miami and beat the Hurricanes?
I don't think so. And I mean, Miami obviously was really impressive against Notre Dame in the trenches. Like, the offensive line and defensive lines especially played really well. And Carson Beck through 2 weeks is just making the right plays, right? And not doing anything stupid. He's more of the 2023 version of himself than what we saw in 2024 at Georgia. So I don't think they are capable of pulling off an upset. Talking about South Florida, I honestly, like, if they would have lost a close game to Florida this past week, I may have given it more of a chance because there's a possibility that Miami overlooks them. But now that they are, like you said, a top 20 team in the country, and they have beaten Boise State and Florida in back-to-back weeks, I think they firmly have a target on their back. And I doubt that Miami and Coach Cristobal is going to take that team lightly. So I don't think they pull it off, but I'm hoping just for a good football game, because what Coach Golash is doing with South Florida right now is really fun stuff.
We got about 2 minutes. I want to end with a Travis Hunter thought from you, but we thought the best SEC game in Week 3 was going to be Florida-LSU. That's certainly not the case. It does appear that it is Georgia and Tennessee. Who do you like between the Volunteers and the Dogs on Saturday?
I like the Bulldogs. I will say, though, Tennessee, and it's kind of multifaceted. The Georgia team, I thought, looked pretty good in Week 1. Again, it's inferior competition the first 2 weeks. But there was a weather delay this past week. But, like, the offense just looked really just kind of unsettled and just a little bit slow. So I'm interested to see what just the Bulldogs offense looks like, because I think the defense will be really good. But Tennessee has a little bit of a rebirth in them. Like, after the Nico situation and getting Joey Aguilar, like, they look like they again, like are playing good football and a little bit more of complimentary football. But I'll still take Georgia. I think that they're just a more physical team. I think they're better in the trenches, and I think that ultimately will be the decider in this one.
Ryan, finally, not only do you do a great job covering college football for A to Z Sports, you're also their main draft guy as well, and you've been covering the draft for many, many years. I'm just curious. The Jaguars started with a 26-10 victory over Carolina. Travis Hunter, 6 catches in the game. He only had 6 snaps on defense. We'll see what happens moving forward. But your thoughts on Travis Hunter and the Jags getting an opening day victory?
I mean, it's great for just kind of the fundamental, belief in the program, right? Like Liam Cohen in his first game, I think that it's big, even though it's not a great team in the Panthers. But I mean, I think that last year that game is probably a little bit more of a dogfight, right? Like it just kind of feels like that. But being able to decisively beat a team by, multiple scores in the NFL is no small feat. Like that league is obviously built off of parity. So great first win. I thought Trevor Lawrence did a lot of good things from everything that I saw. I thought obviously the defense held the team to 10 points and they forced a couple turnovers. So I think that it's a really good start. I think as the year gets ramped up a little bit more, and it's obviously not in blowout fashion, I think we'll see a little bit more Travis Hunter defensively, but just more overall, just on both sides of the football. So really good first win. Have to build upon it, but this was probably the most confident I've seen the Jaguars look in a little bit.
Yeah, really interesting measuring stick game this Sunday. Jacksonville goes to Cincinnati. Obviously, everybody's going to pick the Bengals to win, myself included. But if Jacksonville were to go up there and beat Joe Burrow in the Bengals home opener, that would certainly grab a lot of attention. Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com. Ryan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the podcast, the website, where people can find you.
Yeah, I mean, now that we flipped over to the season's beginning, A to Z Sports Film Room on YouTube, we're going to be kind of doing weekly cut-ups of just some players that we thought had great weeks, kind of breaking down the film a little bit deeper. We'll have some all-22 kind of encapsulated within the video to kind of show what we're seeing every Sunday. So A to Z Sports Film Room, if you want to go to AtoZSports.com or follow me at Rise and Draft, you'll be able to see college football, some NFL content, and just kind of touch base on every aspect of the game of football, and appreciate you for having me on as always.
He's one of our favorites, Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com. Ryan, appreciate it as always. We'll talk soon, pal.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
And thank you to Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, talking Florida and that just absolute disaster of a performance Saturday night against USF. We certainly spent some time as well on Florida State. Seminoles, a bye week this week after their 2-0 start, and it really is a good Saturday of college football. I mean, you got really good SEC games, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and then, of course, the 2 big ones, Florida, LSU, and Georgia, Tennessee, South Florida, and Miami. You got Wisconsin and Alabama. And, look, it's going to be a good Saturday of college football. We'll see if Florida can respond. Again, you guys know what I think. I think Florida's going to play LSU tough because this is what they do. They embarrass themselves, and they come out and have a good, hard-fought game. I think they'll lose in the fourth quarter, probably from a coaching miscue. But I do think Florida will be competitive Saturday night in Death Valley against the LSU Bengal Tigers. So we spent some time on that, but as you can imagine, it was a lot on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars will be back at work tomorrow down at the Miller Electric Center. I will be down in the Jaguar locker room tomorrow afternoon as well. Looking forward to bringing you some one-on-one conversations both tomorrow and Thursday evening right here on Hacker After Dark. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Tuesday night edition. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com, talking college ball with us. And then we had over 90 years of coaching experience. Mark Duffner, 50 years plus on the college and NFL sidelines. Always appreciate Mark Duffner for joining us. And he's got a unique perspective because Coach Duffner was a senior defensive analyst for the Cincinnati Bengals for the last 6 years prior to this season. So he had obviously some unique perspective on the Jaguar opponent coming up on Sunday. And my buddy Dave Campo, he has relocated to Dallas, But Coach, like we always said, is only a phone call away. Appreciate the coach for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, and we will certainly have him on a bunch as this NFL season continues. We will be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday. Again, inside the Jaguar locker room tomorrow. We'll bring you some one-on-one conversations on a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Every joint in the body